Show. It's the Real Chat Daddy Show. It's the Real Chat Daddy Show.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Real Chat Daddy Show. And welcome to the Tuesday night edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show. I am your host, Chat Daddy. Glad to be back with you guys on a beautiful Tuesday evening here in the Chicagoland area. It's more like June weather than July weather, but a little humid, but it's just a beautiful day. We have another great show planned for your viewing and listening pleasure this evening. Tonight is Relationship Tuesday, and so tonight we're talking all things relationships, I should say. We have a wonderful array of guests who will be joining us tonight. We'll talk to the creators of Pride in the Pews. And this is a group of people who are talking about how churches need to come into modern times and embrace, teach, and learn more from the LGBTQ plus community. So we're looking forward to talking to our two great guests about this topic. And then our next guest, or our last guest this evening, is Leon R. Walker Jr. He's an author, relationship, and narcissistic advice expert. So if you're dealing with someone who's extremely narcissistic, he'll be here tonight to talk about the give and take in a relationship. Are you giving? Are you taking? What happens if you're with a narcissist? What happens if you're with somebody who is just not, making it work right and you want the relationship to last? So tonight we'll talk to him about all of his tips. Hanging out in the co-host chairs, our superwoman, our amazing Miss K. Renee of Karen's Nuggets of Knowledge.
Yay!
And hanging out in the box below is the Blonde Bull, Chris, aka Blonde Bull. Good evening, Kay Renee. How are you? And happy Tuesday.
Happy Tuesday to you, Chat Daddy, and happy Tuesday, Mr. Blonde Bull.
Thank you.
It is Thoughtful Tuesday, and it's just been, as Art said, here in the Chicagoland area, it is gorgeous. And another day above ground, y'all, is a very good day.
Amen.
Yes, it is.
Amen.
Yes, it is. Praise God for that one. Are you kidding me? That's really good. Blonde Bull, how are you this evening? What's new?
What's new? Like Karen said, it's grateful to be here. Another day above ground. The sun is shining. It's still summer. Hopefully summer can slow down a little bit. But I'm great. I'm well. I'm alive and thriving. And like the old single, another day, another dollar.
Yes.
Amen. And you're looking good. And you're looking good, by the way.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yes, I did get quite a few compliments about last night's show, as well as we had very high ratings. So we do want to thank you for being a part of it and helping us with the conversation. People actually enjoyed the, younger opinion versus, what we say. And then they enjoyed the male-female banter. Then they enjoyed the, Chris and I talk. So I appreciate you, Chris. Thank you for being here with us. And you're doing a great job.
Thank you guys for having me. I'm so honored to be here.
Good, very good. Well, as you guys all know, we're a health and wellness show, and each and every night we talk about the latest COVID-19 update numbers. This show was created during the pandemic as a way to keep people informed, educated on COVID-19, as well as to introduce you to some amazing people when we were in lockdown. And now the show has continued 2 years later, and we are very excited to just be here to deliver all this for you guys. But as far as the COVID update numbers, here's some things. I did get the latest numbers. Let me see. Where are we at with this? Hold on. Okay, Renee, wait a minute. Nope. I thought I had my right numbers here. Let me go back in my records. Oh, you know what? Because I'm in Wednesday instead of Tuesday.
Oh my goodness.
Whoa.
Yes, I apologize. I know.
Okay.
Illinois.
We can sit. You ready, babe?
Yes, I got it. Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Illinois reported 6,075 new COVID cases, and we had 12 new deaths as of Tuesday. The Illinois Department of Public Health daily death report on weekends and the beginning of the week may be low, and that's because they only count so many days of what has happened and things like that. But so far, 12 has been counted in the number of deaths, and that's the number of confirmed cases. There have been at least 3,480,965 total COVID cases in the state of Illinois since the beginning of the pandemic. Unfortunately, we have lost 34,220 people to COVID-19 here in the state of Illinois. The Illinois Department of Public Health are reporting that per case rate per 100,000 person. So are you guys getting what I'm saying? Per 100,000 people here in the state of Illinois, the rate is 38.9% of those people have tested positive with COVID-19. So I guess you said that's pretty high. I was thinking
that's almost mid to high, because you think 50%, that's very close to 50% as opposed to being under 50%. And
right.
Given the CDC and as well as a lot of local, the health department is saying we got to start wearing masks again.
Yes.
I've never stopped, but
right.
Everybody else needs to pay attention and wear masks indoors and practice that physical distancing and all. Wash your hands. I don't know why people don't stop doing that just because we're out and about and doing our thing. We still got to follow the rules, right?
You know what I think it is? I think summertime, people don't look at it as a punishment. The weather's nice. People have on very little clothing. People feel, it's air conditioned. We're free. Where in the fall and winter, if these numbers were rising back up again, I guarantee you people would be less likely to be out at festivals and parties and things like that. So I don't know. Yeah. What do you think, Blonde Bull?
I agree with what you said. Now that the hot times are here, and everyone wants to have a hot boy and hot girl summer. Let's have a not so hot COVID summer. How about that? And keep the mask up. Hand sanitizer. I always keep hand sanitizer on deck. And like I said, social distancing is always great. And trying to, I know we all trying to, now it feels good to be back outside. I want to get in part of all of the events, but you might want to maybe sit back and think, is this event really worth going to, and kind of figure out what kind of crowd's going to be at this event to truly make sure if it's worth going to this event or not.
Yes, which is true. It is really true. Yes, Chris and I have had that situation several times with things that I've been invited to, or he wanted me to go, with him to, or whatever. And believe it or not, he's the one that has made the decision, like, I don't know if we necessarily need to go to this, or I think I'll pass, or, maybe save our energy for something else. So I agree with you 100%. Marguerite said, thank you, Blonde Bull. Yes, I agree.
You're most welcome, Marguerite.
Yes, very good. All right, well, let me give you guys this. As of Monday night, 1,336 patients in the state of Illinois are in the hospital battling COVID-19. Of those numbers, 149 patients are in the ICU, and 45 of those patients are on ventilators. Health officials say that 24% of hospital beds are available. I guess of all the beds that we have here in the state of Illinois to help battle COVID, 24% are available. So far, 22,760,522 vaccine dosages have been administered in the state of Illinois as of Monday. That makes us now at 65.21% of the state fully vaccinated. 7-day rolling average of vaccines is about 9,107 in a 7-day period. Okay, now they are now worried because of this new variant that is coming, the rapid spread of BA4 and BA5, which they're saying is super contagious, that they're now looking at maybe telling people we might have to go back into the mask thing. And we've talked about this. We all agree. I must admit, I've become very lackadaisical with wearing my mask a lot of different places. But This is not gone anywhere. We talk about this every night on the show. We don't think it's going anywhere right away. I know you two are huge advocates of wearing the mask, but do you think they'll put a mask mandate back in place? What do you think? I'm gonna start with you, K. Renee.
If these numbers keep going up, that answer is obvious. I mean, you think about it, you can't even now travel to Europe. Folks are starting, as Chris indicated, they're starting to get out. It's warm. They're trying to travel. You can't travel to Europe right now. Some airlines, they won't even accept until
it's Heathrow Airport. It's the entire airport.
Okay.
That is only London. No. But here's the deal. It's just not a airline. It's all the airlines.
Exactly.
London Heathrow is the biggest connector in the world for global travel. And London Heathrow has now limited how many people can come in and out of that place a day.
Exactly. But to answer your question, I feel people who want to be out more, they're going to get, unfortunately, like a lackadaisical and say, you know what, I'll be okay. Well, is that thinking, as my late father would call that, stinking thinking, will get you in trouble. So it's just, what we say on the show, we'll be wearing our masks until June-Vember 2025. So once June-Vember 2025 hit, and the president says, you know what, because of Chat Daddy, he instituted this month in 2025, then we can stop wearing masks. But until then, K. Renee, I can speak for Chat Daddy, I can speak for Blonde Bull. We're going to keep wearing our mask until June-Vember 2025.
Absolutely.
Yes, very good. Blonde Bull, what's your response to all of this?
This mask mandate was long overdue. I get it. People think that masks are kind of limiting in whatever shape, way, form that they think, even though I don't think masks will limit you for doing whatever besides keep you protected. This mask mandate should never been down to begin with. It should have stayed up since day one. And also, they have not been advertising about people getting vaccines no more. They've just been kind of like glaring over vaccines and kind of, here or there about masks just because I guess it's the summertime and they don't really want to scare people. But unfortunately, COVID is still here, and we need to be on our P's and Q's as always and keep the mask on. And, keep the mask on until COVID is for sure away from here.
Right. I could agree with you both more. Okay. All right. Well, just so you guys are informed and know. All right. Well, K. Renee, let's get into some of the news. We didn't even finish some of the things we had to talk about last night. So go right ahead and let's get into it. And I want to say,
and I know we've got to talk about a pastor. So I want you to talk about a pastor that we just found out about. But as you know, we've been off for a while, and there's so much has happened. One, since we're speaking about London and Heathrow, well, the controversial Prime Minister Boris Johnson, who kind of liked 45, not kind of like, he did like 45, and vice versa. They had a bromance going on. Finally, he had the decency and the wherewithal to step down. Meaning he resigned earlier this month due to we won't say irreconcilable differences, as you say in a divorce court, but due to some things that he know damn well he shouldn't have been doing. During a pandemic, for instance, folks were not wearing a mask. They were just doing whatever the hell they want to do. And even in his own party, towards the end, Chris and Art, half of his cabinet said, see ya, don't want to be it. They start resigning like business. So finally, he did the decent thing and resigned. I'm wondering what Queen Elizabeth is thinking.
Well, the Queen has had a lot on her plate, though. You've got to realize. So from the Duchess of Sussex, the Prince Harry and Meghan, to now she just had a jubilee, to the death of her husband, to now this dude up and resigning. He's gonna stay in place till they find his replacement. But it is what it is. Chris, what were you gonna say?
Oh well, what I was going to say is, yeah, it's about time he resigned from for our conservative party. But the fact that he went, that he has to stay in there until a replacement is found is kind of questionable. But I'm not the one here to judge. So that's all I can
Right.
say.
Well, here's the
Oh, we're
deal.
not
'Cause-
judging. We just stating
Right.
facts.
True.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, they'll find a replacement, but
They
it's
will.
not much he can do because really he'll be a lame duck until, they find whoever it is, I'm sure. So,
But he
okay,
was a
very
very-
good with that.
He was a very interesting and controversial character.
Yes, he was.
So
Yes, he
I hope
was.
that whoever the United Kingdom selects as their prime minister will be collaborative with all the other allies. And speaking from one prime minister to another prime minister, unfortunately, who lost his life last week, the prime minister of Japan, Shinzo Abe, was assassinated on July the 8th. And I believe, Art, you
Mhm.
mentioned before we came on the air that he had his funeral today,
Today. Yes, it
Really?
was. Yes.
And,
Yes. His funeral was today in Tokyo.
it was
Yes.
today, right. And this man was the longest running prime minister in Japan's history. His wife, the first lady, was very progressive. So they were a very good power couple. And so, he got along well with a lot of all the global leaders, including former President Obama, as of course of our current president, Joseph Biden. What was really interesting about this assassination, y'all, we talk about gun violence, and we just had unfortunately a mass shooting in Highland Park over the 4th, and it just seemed like every month we're having something across the country. In Japan, they only have 10 gun losses a year. So the person who killed him, he was 41. I mean, he just went up and bam, that was it. They got him in custody. But it just goes to show you gun violence, it's a global issue. It is not just here in Chicago. It is not just here in the United States. It is all over the damn place.
So wait, let me add to the Japan story. They had 10 cases that involved a gun. Only one person perished from the 10 cases. And this is before Mr. Abe was killed. So for him to have been shot over there, it is a public outrage. People cannot believe it. Tokyo is one of my favorite cities. It is clean, it's tranquil. You don't ever have to worry about watching your back in Tokyo, other than, maybe somebody might rob you on the street, something that I consider a Mayberry type of crime, if you know what I mean. That type of underdog, probably purebred type of crime versus, being shot while you're out trying to eat or something like that. So yeah, my thoughts and prayers go out to them. Beautiful ceremony. I watched some of it earlier. Heads of state from around the world came to pay their respects. It was a private service. His body was in a Rolls Royce hearse, which was just phenomenal, to say the least. And actually he's being cremated after they did the ceremony today, and they took him past all the government buildings that were a part of his life in the procession.
Speaking of, I want to ask this question because when we were growing up, when a person transitions, you never really hear about cremation. Now it's like second nature. Why do you think that is?
Cremation has just become the hottest, most popular thing. It really is a great way for people to remember their loved ones. You can have jewelry made from the cremains of your loved one. If it's a family of multiple children, or you want to give it, you could do keepsakes, you could do keychains, you could do many things. And then that way that person will always have the essence of you near them. You're right. We come from a tradition of everybody needs to be put in the ground. But when you think about the number of cases, how many bodies are in cemeteries, you've never really heard of a cemetery talking about, child, we got to expand. We gonna take over 100 more houses. So what do you think they do? They have to flip and turn over graves after a while, build mausoleums. So, a lot of people, cremation is just the way most people want to go, and to help reduce that carbon footprint,
Well, it's just really interesting because, as I said, our art. I know I can't speak for you, but I know in my family they didn't. From a religious standpoint, they didn't believe in cremation, but it just seemed. And
Right.
I'm wondering if COVID is another reason why a lot of people, when they leave here, they're requesting to be cremated.
Well, yeah,
Could
that's
possibly
also
be.
Well,
Right.
that's also a good theory about back in the pre-pandemic times that a lot of people wanted to get cremated. I want to say, if I'm not mistaken, correct me if I'm wrong. I know during the pandemic times, coming from a personal experience, they was having a hard time like holding funerals and able to get caskets and things like that. Certain companies on shutdown, so I guess that kind of sparked the whole cremation. Being so hot, and also that a lot of people, which I've heard around, that they like to, get their loved one cremated and maybe sprinkle them like along the Jersey Shore or along Disneyland, so they can, I guess, be one whatever their favorite environment was or their favorite place that they like to go, or whatever the case may be, or just even like put them in a little jar and put them on a mantle somewhere, or like Art said, make jewelry from them.
That's right. Wait, so you mean to tell me that fairy dust at Disneyland that they put on the funnel cake, that could be somebody's grandmama?
I
Are you
hope
telling
so.
me that little fairy dust that they be sprinkling on them fair? Oh my God! Oh
Yeah, well, they
Lord!
say there's always magic in Disneyland, so I guess where the
Oh
magic came
God!
I
from.
hope not.
I
But I,
hope
I
not.
hope we have someone, Art, in the show that talks about planning, because I think that's also important, because in the Black community, we love to kiki, we love to party, but when it comes to your final expenses, you need to have planning. And there's something, unfortunately, in our community we don't think about.
Right, right. I agree with you 100%. We'll have somebody on to talk about that very soon. All right, well, let's move on in news so we don't run out of time before our guests join us tonight. What else we got in the news, K. Renee?
Oh my goodness. We also, in sports history, there's a Black general manager in hockey. Now, we love to fight, but the time to fight is in a hockey rink, right? Because, you don't see any Black hockey players, let alone Black coaches or a Black general manager. But we've made history again. For the 2022 and 2023 season, NHL season, the San Jose Sharks, figures in California, right, hired Mike Greer as their general manager on July the 5th, which
Wow.
Mr. Greer becomes the first Black general manager of the National Hockey League. So congratulations to Mr. Greer. I have been to a Chicago Blackhawks game, and let me tell you, I need to go back because there was some menses that were looking fine as wine, honey. And I'm like, I'm gonna need to go to me a hockey game. My girlfriend, Attorney Kier Payne, she had some tickets. Let's go to hockey game. And let me tell you, we were looking fabulous. They were like, wow. I said, I need to go back.
Yes, yes. And the one thing about if you get you a hockey player, they have a budget to get their teeth fixed when they get knocked out. So yeah. So if you get with a hockey player and his teeth get knocked out, he can go get his teeth fixed and everything, because right. So I'm with you on
part of the
that.
insurance package.
It is right. That's why I'm like, to get them teeth fixed when they get knocked out. What you thinking, Blonde Bull?
That's completely just blanked out. But I'm all for it. I mean, especially hockey is such a very Caucasian, predominantly a sport. So it's very good to see a brother. This is a brother, right? Or a sister?
Yeah. No, it's a brother. It's a brother. It's a brother.
Okay, a brother to be a general manager and have some type of saying, especially for the Chicago Blackhawks. So
yes,
I'm all for
good.
Black empowerment, us Black people, getting more in big bosses of positions.
Yes. Well, Chris, I know you had a story about a transgender situation at a Chick-fil-A. And so what's happening with that story?
So in Decatur, Georgia, good old, Decatur, down there in southern Georgia, there was a trans woman by the name of Erin Taylor, and she was 29 years old, and she was working at, good old, Chick-fil-A, which we already know Chick-fil-A is already very anti-LGBTQIA plus. So when I saw the story, it kind of made me saying like, I kind of knew this and knew it because that's how the track record of Chick-fil-A and the man and the person that owns it, and everything that they do in terms of LGBT. That she got fired due to her being a transgender woman, and she's actually been transitioned for about 3 years now, and she was getting picked on badly by her co-worker from her, and they were treating her differently, giving her a crappy schedules and all the good stuff. So they eventually had to fire her, and now she pressed a lawsuit against it that's still going on as we speak, to trying to reconcile all her she being wrong for just being her authentic self.
Wow.
I think we're gonna have to boycott Chick-fil-A.
Yeah,
I
don't
tolerate
I found out that Chick-fil-A the owner was anti-LGBTQIA, I said no. I cannot support you. I will never eat out of you ever again. And I've stuck to that word to this day.
That is true. Because here's the deal. I mean, I've had Chick-fil-A. I think it's great. But then I think other places have great chicken sandwiches. And then I'm, taking a stance with Chris as well, too, that if you are anti-LGBTQ plus, then guess what? I ain't got time to eat your chicken either. Now, I ain't going to lie. Y'all Polynesian sauce is really good now, that Polynesian sauce. But your chicken, the hell with it. Yes. No. Right.
And goes any company that's anti-gay, anti-black, anti-Asian, anything. Because one thing about Chick-fil-A, they have I don't know who owns the actual franchise of Chick-fil-A, Chris, but I know they're very religious. Because they don't open on Sundays, they close on Sundays, and they really try to encourage their employees to turn a new leaf, a Christian leaf, if you know what I'm saying. So it's not surprising that this happened. I hope Miss Erin gets what she needs to get and sends Chick-fil-A a message. Right, get some serious coins so they will understand we don't do that here. If you want to go to Russia, do that. Not here in the United States. So
I won't
Absolutely. Be going to Chick-fil-A. So I'm glad you let us know, Chris, because I won't be patronizing that Chick-fil-A. My money can go somewhere else.
Right. Absolutely.
Which also, I think will also be another good topic of conversation among everybody here, or just people in general. If do people really support or don't support Russia that's against their values, or that's against their type of people, like say anti-black, anti-LGBTQIA, anti-women, anti-abortion, whatever the case may be?
I try to do that whenever I can. I mean, for example, Home Depot won't go there because they supported number 45. I was like, I go to Lowe's. Lowe's is a black man, so I go to Lowe's. So once I find the tea, the serious tea, I make a decision, because a lot of people don't understand, especially in our community. We spend money. We spend money on a lot of things, and I think if our people knew the backstory of some of these companies, you think twice about patronizing them.
Here's the deal. Our communities are the only communities that people from other places can come in, open up a business in our community, and thrive well, and don't do anything for our community other than maybe give a few $100s to the softball team, maybe donate a few turkeys to the senior citizens at Thanksgiving, whatever the case may be. But we cannot go into their neighborhood and open up a business. And if we do, we're faced with scrutiny. We're faced with, are we good enough? I mean, there are so many different components with that. But we are the only race of people that other people can come in our neighborhood and open up something, and we patronize them like you wouldn't believe.
I know, and that has to stop. See, once we stop that, then people understand. Oh, y'all have a voice, and I said, no, we have not stopped having a voice. We will continue to have a voice. So, once I find out certain things about companies, I will not support.
I agree. And to answer a question about the owner, he's the owner of Chick-fil-A. His name is what's his name? Estruit Cathy, and he's a Caucasian Southern Baptist. That's also Republican at the same time. So
say no more. See, there you go.
So I bet you he been to.
if we ever go to Decatur, Georgia, as a certain character would say, we won't be going to Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, no Chick-fil-A for you. No Chick-fil-A. All right, very good. Chris, did you have another story before we have to move on to our guests?
Actually, I do. Speaking of Miss Griner and Russia, as of yesterday, Russian lawmakers have proposed to extend a ban they already have in place already about promoting non-traditional sexual relationships or anything LGBTQIA plus. So,
Really?
and if it gets passed, if anybody getting caught, marching for LGBTQ or for having propaganda or information or merch, anything like that, they can get a nasty little fine and potentially get sent to jail for that.
Really? Wow.
And it doesn't surprise me because, and guess what? The fool Putin. Oh, I'm sorry.
Putin.
No, I said Putin is in Iran now to talk to their government about drones to help Ukraine. And Putin, if you strike the head of the snake, everybody else will fall. That's all.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. That's true. That's very true. Okay. All right. Well, for those of you all that are just joining us, welcome to the Tuesday night edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show. I am your host, Chat Daddy. So glad to be here with you guys on a beautiful Tuesday evening. It is our second night back since we've been on hiatus, and we are glad to be back with you guys. We appreciate you for all your love and support. Yesterday's show, as they say, was off the hook. It was really a good show. Sitting in the co-host chair is our girl, the amazing Miss K. Renee of Karen's Nuggets of Knowledge. Down in the box below is Mr. Christopher, aka Blonde Bull. He is a contributor. He's been hanging out with us since last night, tonight, and then he'll be back on down the road in some other things. He's done a great job so far. He's done well. Chris, how's night number 2? Well, this is actually your third show that you've done. You actually gonna be able to. Yeah, you're gonna be able to create a demo real soon. How you feel about this?
I'm just honored and blessed to be here, to able to be a voice to the younger generation in terms of current hot topics and issues going on in the world nowadays, and also to bring in a lot of LGBTQIA plus news. So I'm grateful for you and allow me to be on your platform, Chad, and also about you guys on my platform to be here and to be a voice. That's all. So I appreciate you guys very much.
And what a powerful voice you have, Chris. Don't ever silence that. You hear me?
I've got you. Thank you so much.
I read something today that said that the Generation Z, let me see millennials and Generation Z, they are genderless, ageless, empowered, unconstrained by rules and boundaries. And so that's a conversation that I want us to have on the show one night and have Chris back on because a lot of what he tells me and how he does things is so different. And I have to think about it's not necessarily an age thing, it's a generation thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's funny you mentioned that. There's a show, the summer show on ABC called Generation Gap, where someone from the younger generation and someone from the older generation, they team up to answer questions. Kelly Ripa is the host. I cannot wait to see, because I think it's going to be funny as I don't know what. Some of the answers that they can provide.
Guess what? The black version is coming very soon. How about that? How about that?
All right.
Yes. How about we will be talking about this very soon? We will. That's a lot of how Chris and I developed, was just talking about the difference of life, things, experiences, all of that. So just know that will be coming very, very soon. Yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Very good. All right. Well, as we continue on with our Tuesday night show, as we said before, tonight is Relationship Tuesday, and we're talking about all things relationship. And as we're coming off the heels of not only Pride Month, but over the July 4th weekend, it was Black Pride here in Chicago. And one of the biggest places that I've seen the most amount of discrimination in has been in the church. And that's a very unfortunate situation. It has happened many times. I've always said, why does this happen? And so tonight we're going to talk with two amazing gentlemen who are on a mission to get pastors and churches involved in ministering better to the needs of the LGBTQ plus community. They're going to be providing tools, information, resources, because K. Renee, not to age ourselves, but I know one thing. If certain folks wasn't in the choir, there wouldn't have been a choir.
I was just thinking.
Oh, hello.
I was thinking just about
hello.
that.
Hello. And we know some of those people, don't we, Chat Daddy?
Honey, don't we? Yes, we do.
Sure
Yes, we do. But then we also know people that's leading the flock and living a hot mess life too. So we ain't gonna spill no tea now. We ain't gonna spill no tea. Okay. But we want everybody to be accepting. We want everybody to be on the same page. I know churches that damn near collapsed after most of their LGBTQ membership departed.
Won't say no names.
Because you did not serve people's needs. And that's what it's all about. So our guests tonight are here. They are part of Pride in the Pews. I am very excited to present them to us tonight. We have Mr. Don Abrams, and we have the amazing Mr. Stephen J. Thurston. Both of these guys, I'm looking forward to this conversation. Ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome them both to the show. Yay! Did they both pop in, or are we missing somebody? Let's see. Yay! Very good. Hey, good evening. How are you, gentlemen?
How you guys doing?
Amazing. Good to see y'all.
Good evening.
We are wonderful.
Glad to be here.
Good. Can everybody hear us okay? Put your thumbs up if everybody can hear. Okay, beautiful. Glad to have both of you gentlemen here tonight. When my good friend, Mr. Stephen Thurston, came to me and told me about this idea, I was elated. I said, wait a minute. Finally, somebody's going to talk about that pink elephant in the room. Somebody's going to try to help people to not only greet that elephant, but love that elephant, feed that elephant, and let's get to the truth of all of this. And so, gentlemen, I am honored. Don, this is my first time meeting you. What a pleasure. I don't even know who should start. I almost feel like I need to go eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I don't know. Maybe we'll let Don start first. Please, welcome to the show. Introduce yourself and tell us all about this, and then we'll get to my good friend in just a moment.
Yes, I'm happy to. Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for the opportunity to be on. It is indeed a pleasure. I'm so grateful for the opportunity to share the work and mission of Pride in the Pews. My name is Don Abram, and I'm the founder of Pride in the Pews. And put simply, our goal is to bridge the gap between the Black church and the LGBTQ plus community. What we know undoubtedly and unequivocally is that LGBTQ plus folk have contributed to the life and legacy of the Black church, both historically and in the present day. Our goal is to provide Black churches the tools, resources, and conversation that allows them to meet the needs of a long-standing community within the Black church. And so I'm thrilled to be doing this work across the nation with partners and Black pastors and congregations who recognize the urgency of us tackling, to your point, the pink, I would even say rainbow elephant in the room.
Very good. I love that. And then you could not have partnered with a more radical, progressive thinking person than my buddy in the box below me. You understand me? He is just incredible. Ladies and gentlemen, if you do not know who he is, he's a friend of mine. So I just know him as, my buddy. But to the world, he is a pastor. He is a thought leader. Good evening, my friend. Welcome to the show. And how did you get connected with this?
Hey, Chad, always glad to be connected with you, man. So Don and I knew each other, through the church world for years. and reached out to him on something different. And he told me what he was doing with Pride in the Pews. And he was looking for straight identified pastors to get involved in the movement to help to spread the word about the resources that Pride in the Pews have to offer. And I said, hey, man, I volunteer because I've got a platform, I've got a name, I've got a presence. And I believe that presence and power have responsibility. And with that responsibility, we ought to lend our voices to help people who are minimized and marginalized. And so I believe in the work of Pride in the Pews, and I wanted to lift my voice, blow my trumpet, to challenge other cisgendered pastors and challenge the Black church at large to speak up, speak out about the atrocities that are placed against people in the Q plus community. Because the reality of the matter is, as you all were saying in the intro of us, the Black church would not exist, it would not survive, it would not thrive if it weren't for the contributions of the Q plus community, from the pulpit to the parking lot. All are needed and necessary to carry out the work that God has called us to do.
Amen.
Why, gentlemen, I do want to ask this question. Why do you think we have lived in this don't tell society for so long? I have friends of other races who they can come out, tell people, either people gonna love them or like them, but they've always been very connected to the roots of their church. Where in our cases, don't ask, don't tell, you better straighten up. You know, why is that, Don? Let's start with you, and then we'll ask the pastor to kind of chime in with that.
Yes, I'm happy to answer that question. First and foremost, I would argue that the homophobia and in some cases transphobia that we see in Black churches are ultimately rooted in what I would describe as a fundamental misreading of Scripture. I believe that the theological interpretations promulgated to other LGBTQ plus folk are actually rooted in white colonial interpretations of Scripture that do not center the lived experiences or history of Black people. And because of our inability to really adopt an expansive view and perspective on gender and sexuality in the Black church, we have condemned LGBTQ plus folk to hell. And for me, I believe that that's ultimately rooted in what scholars would deem respectability politics. It's this notion and idea that you should adopt white middle class values and embodiments in order to be accepted by mainstream society. That means you dress a certain way, you talk a certain way, you adopt a particular lifestyle, a particular way of moving through the world. And certainly heteronormativity and straightness is a part of that. And that's why many of you would often, I'm sure you've heard it said, I mean, you're Black and you want to be gay? Right? Like the world is already against you. And now you're adding this to the mix. That notion is fundamentally rooted in respectability politics, recognizing that the world is out against us and our Blackness counts against us and your queerness is going to count against you. And therefore, we're going to erect a standard, right, which suggests that you should conform to a particular ideal and way of embodiment in order to be accepted by mainstream society. But I'm here to say that I serve a Jesus who turned the tables over. I serve a God who decided to disrupt and dismantle patriarchy and heteronormativity. And that's the God that I serve. And so any church that I attend, I wanted it to embody freedom and liberation, which says, God love you as you are, and you are fearfully and wonderfully made. You don't need to change, transform, or conform if you are loving your neighbor as you love yourself.
Ooh,
Child, all I'm gonna say, y'all drop something in the bucket. Drop something in the bucket.
Let me get some money.
Honey, y'all drop something. I'm gonna pass it from screen to screen. Y'all, right. Please, y'all drop something in the bucket. This man gonna leave with some change from this show tonight. Yes, amen. Amen.
This is church, y'all, tonight. So y'all
church at its finest.
This is church tonight. This tonight is not Sunday, y'all. It's Tuesday night church tonight. Thank you, Pastor Don. My goodness.
Look, Pastor Don, I think I read you have a master's in divinity. Is that what I read?
Yes, that's correct. Divinity.
Okay, well, My other good friend sitting next to you, sir. I mean, you and I have talked about this many times, Stephen, that people are playing games when it comes to people's lives and who they are. People oftentimes want to cast demons out of people. I'm gonna scare you straight, all of that.
Yes.
And you have always been the type of person that said, be you and live your best life. So where are you at with all of this?
Listen, man, I grew up loving Sesame Street and Ernie Bert, Kermit, all of them. I love all the characters on Sesame Street. But as I grew older, I discovered a disdain for Sesame Street. Here's where it came into play. When I look back at Sesame Street, this was a loving place, a place of growth and development for everybody that was there. We were all supposed to be each other's neighbors and help each other out. But for 50 plus years, Oscar the Grouch lived in the trash can. And I couldn't understand why everybody would leave Oscar in the trash can for 50 plus years. Deplorable conditions, a limit and a lid on his life. Everybody's supposed to love everybody, but nobody would lift him beyond the limits of his lid. As a Black cisgender pastor, I look at the Q plus community and I look at the garbage conditions that they live in. That garbage politicians and garbage policies are put in place, and garbage people and garbage churches have created this poor environment for Q plus individuals to live in. And I want to be a good neighbor and lift the lid off, change the atmosphere for my brothers and sisters that are in the Q plus community. And that is what the church ought to do. That's what Christians ought to do. Because as Don said, Jesus was a deconstructionist. He deconstructed theology, he constructed ideology, he changed and challenged systems and structures. And if we're going to call ourselves Christians and Christ-like and do what Jesus would do, Jesus would challenge anything and everybody that hurt, harmed, or hindered people. That's what we have to do. That's where I stand. All of y'all are my brothers and my sisters. And yeah, I'll add this. I really don't think God cares as much what we lick or stick like most Black church people do.
Look, hey, look. Okay, now. Okay, look, drop the look, honey. This bucket gonna be full before this show is over. Wow. Oh my God, you both are right. Kay Renee, I know you want to jump in and make comments.
Goodness.
I sent you all the notes about this. Isn't this incredible, though?
I wish I had known about this sooner, and I'm just very proud of the both of you to live. Both of you are living authentic lives, and I think when you can do that, that's when the attraction of everybody will come and say, you know what, we've got to live life truly as Jesus has lived, because he didn't care who you were, Black, white, polka dot, fat, skinny, gay, straight, it didn't matter, as long as you had the heart to love and to give. And so I thank the two of you for stepping out on faith. And faith is an acronym, finding answers in the heart. That's an acronym. So both of you have found answers within your heart, which is God speaking through the two of you. But I've got to ask my question, as I normally do for our guests. Who inspires you to be the best Stephen Thurston and the best Don Abram this universe has ever seen?
I'll kick off. I would say that my dad, over the course of his 50 years of preaching and pastoring, my dad has helped everybody, looked out for everybody, never put up these standards of them versus us. And so in our church, their New Covenant has been in existence for 88 years. We had some of everybody, and some of everybody held some of every kind of position. And so he created an ethos and an environment of acceptability for me. And so I celebrate him, he and my mom, for what they did to create an environment where I could love everybody and connect with everybody.
That's beautiful. Don?
I can jump in and say it's my Jamaican patois speaking grandmother who passed her faith off to me as a young child. I can recall vividly when I received my calling to preach via a dream. I came to my grandmother confused and confounded by that vision, asking whether or not, Grandma, you think I've been called to preach. I went around asking everyone I knew, and they all gave different answers. I landed at my grandma's feet saying, surely you know, I've seen you go to church Sunday after Sunday. I've seen you do the happy dance, as we called it. So you are the sage. You are the one who's going to give me the answer. And her retort was simple. Only you and God knows what that dream means. And it was in that moment that my grandmother taught me that my relationship with God is between me and God. And if you feel as though you've been called to this place and to ministry, then you accept that call. And so for me, as I think about living out my calling and purpose in the world, my grandmother, with all the patois that she has, even 30 years after being in America, is in the back of my head saying, do the thing that God has called you to do, and do it with excellence and without fear. Because if God be for you, he's more than the world against you.
That's
Oh
great.
my God, that is so amazing.
Speak on
I'm
it. Speak on it.
I was just going to say I'm coming to the Blonde Bull next, but Don, so you come from Jamaican roots. The Blonde Bull comes from Nigerian roots, and you both come from places where homosexuality is very, forbidden. You both have taken a stance on being who you want to be, not letting what the past has been all about. Blonde Bull, what do you think of this conversation and you being such a proud Nigerian?
Oh, I think this conversation is just fantastic, and conversation needs to be had way more often in all Black churches, all churches in general. I mean, especially me my dad was also a pastor. Unfortunately, he wasn't, so it was the traditional way of saying that, banning the gays and nothing against the Bible. It's supposed to be a man and a woman. So I really connected with, both of you guys, Don and Stephen, and especially you, Don, but we both come from African roots, and Jamaican and Nigerian, that we're so against homosexuality, which then leads to which is a roots of a lot of things going on in the Black church. It's this toxic masculinity, and how that we come as Black people come from a history and a past of things being pounding over our head of what we need to conform to, or we need to act like this and look like this, otherwise people will look at you funny and things like that. So I truly take this conversation and I appreciate both of you guys for doing the work and putting it out there that LGBTQIA, we are here. We've done a lot so that we make the world go round. We've done a lot for the church. We ain't nothing less than anybody else. At the end of the day, as long as that we all in our hearts in the right place, and we're here to love on people and to receive love and to do the work and to do anything to make the world to a better place. That's all we can do. Forget whatever you like to bring to the bed, or whatever the case may be. It's all about living your authentic lives, and God loves you for who you are. Because and also another theory which I brought up to you, Chad. Why do you think God liked rainbows so much?
Why does God like rainbows so much?
Because God loves everything. God loves all His people. So the rainbow is a nice symbol to symbolize that diversity, that everybody is different, and that He loves all people.
I love it. I do. Gentlemen, I want to find out what's next. How can we get on this campaign? How can we be a part of this movement? This platform will always be available for this conversation if ever needed. But what can we do to continue this and start educating people? And look, somehow I'm going to jump on the bandwagon of this eventually, because you're right. Enough is enough, even in the workplace. And that's because the church has allowed it to be so bad for so long that other people disrespect those in the LGBTQ world. What's next, Don?
Yes, I'm happy to provide next steps for those who are interested. So first and foremost, if you are someone who's rooted in the Black church, a congregation or a pastor who can really use the resources and curriculum that Pride in the Pews has developed to move your church to a more affirming place. Reach out to us. Visit our website at www.prideinthepews.com. We are beginning a nationwide tour this summer, going to Black churches across the country, offering trainings and workshops, as well as speaking series that offer concrete, practical resources that meet your congregation where you are. So send us pastors, send us churches, make introductions, tell folk about our work so that we might be able to share the resources that we've so thoughtfully and intentionally curated to meet the context of the Black church. But if you say, hey, maybe I'm not in the Black church, maybe I'm no longer a member, we want you to join us by offering financial resources. It takes money to keep this ship afloat. So write a check to Pride in the Pews, donate to us and to the work that we're doing, or connect us with foundations, financial partners who recognize our heart and our vision to make the Black church a more affirming place for LGBTQ plus folk. And if you say, you know what, I don't go to a Black church, I really don't have any money to give, that's okay, because part of the work that we're doing is public narrative work. That means coming on to shows like Chat Daddy and talking about the work that we're doing, amplifying the conversation, and creating space for critical conversation. So follow us on Instagram at Pride in the Pews, follow us on Facebook at Pride in the Pews, and amplify the work so that we might be able to bring this conversation to those who need it the most.
Oh my goodness, we must have lost my good buddy Stephen J Thurston, but this has been an amazing conversation. It really has. Prideinthepews.com, you guys, prideinthepews.com. Please go there, look them up. It's a wonderful website, all of that. I think he may be back. Oh, I think he's back with us. Hold on, let's check and see, because we can't close out without him giving us some kind of, dope knowledge.
That's right. That's right.
I mean,
There he is.
yeah, it wouldn't be right. That's okay. You back with us?
I'm back.
Very good. So now, Stephen, we were kind of talking while you were trying to get everything together. Both of you guys did a great job. I love the Oscar the Grouch story, but the real story, as I told you when we had lunch, is the fact that Bert and Ernie have been living together a long time, and ain't nobody really saying nothing about Bert and Ernie now.
That's true.
Right.
That's right.
Bert and Ernie have been roommates for a long time too. Right. Yeah, I'm sad that they never got anything bigger than a 1-bedroom and all of that. Right. So that lets you know that the LGBTQ community is not even making the money they should be making. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
Yes. Well, Stephen, in closing, what do you want to say? You always deliver great messages to the mass. And so Don did an excellent job of closing out business for Pride in the Pews. But let's let you close out with your message of what we want everybody to do.
I want individuals who are part of faith communities to have a conversation with your pastor. Ask them, what are we doing as a faith community, as a church, as the hands and the feet of Jesus, to speak to the issues and the EOs that are impacting the Q plus community. If your pastor is unsure, is unclear, says nothing, then I need you to connect with Pride in the Pews. We've got curriculum that's set up. We host conversations with pastors and with people to equip them to serve this present age and to serve this community of individuals. And the amazing thing that I really love about Pride in the Pews is that it's not about trying to change the theological perspective of a pastor or of a church. No, we're looking at individuals as human beings, as creatures that are created in God's image. All of us are. And we're seeking to serve congregations with curriculum based upon the lived experience of people that can help those congregations to better meet the needs of people, God's people created in God's image. So challenge your church, challenge your faith leader, and then head over to Pride in the Pews to get what you need to get plugged into the work that we're doing.
Oh boy, that was incredible. That really was. That was outstanding. It was what we needed to hear. Perfect for Relationship Tuesday. Perfect for the time in which we're in, which we really do need to make a change. We need to stop sugarcoating things. We need to stop lying about things, and we need to tell the truth and really shame the devil. Gentlemen, you both have done an outstanding job this evening. We really appreciate you both. Big round of applause. Don't forget, you guys, prideinthepews.com. That's where you can find our good friend, the Reverend Doctor. Look, I done made you a doctor now, Don Abrams. Yes, I'm just putting it out there. I'm just putting it out there.
I'll receive it.
That's right. I'm just putting it out there in the atmosphere. And as you guys all know, our other good friend, the amazing Mr. Stephen J Thurston. He stays popular on social media. His posts are some of my favorite posts to read. Please follow him at his website as well too. But let these two gentlemen guide your ministry in the right direction of being inclusive of all people. In this day and age, you want everybody to come back to the flock and make sure you're treating people the right way. And that's the way you have to do that. Gentlemen, did I do okay with this?
Thank you, sir.
Oh my goodness.
Appreciate
Thank you for the invitation and for using your platform to elevate this critically important conversation.
Very good. Gentlemen, I appreciate you both. Thank you both for taking time out of your schedule. Chris, say good night to our guests, please.
Good night, everybody. You two. You guys continue doing the work. This, like I said, this is a conversation that needs to be injected in every single Black church out there. So we appreciate you guys from the bottom of our hearts.
Very good. Miss K. Renee, last but not least.
Just want to say, continue being blessed and continue living your life with purpose, passion, but most importantly, with praise.
Yes. Thank you, gentlemen, so very much. We'll talk soon. Pride in the Pews, you guys. Make sure you go check them out. They are there for us. Good night, gentlemen. Thank you so very much. Oh, my God. That was incredible. Good night. Oh, wow. Wasn't that great?
How much did you collect? Did you collect some money?
Look, girl, I think we collected thousands tonight. This is all virtual. You know what I'm saying? But then you just look, this just coming in. Look, it was just coming in. It was just coming in because they preached a sermon. They literally preached a sermon. Yes, yes, they did. Yes, absolutely. Well, coming up on tomorrow night's show, we'll meet the mayor and first lady of Bronzeville. The Shards will be here with us tomorrow night. There is a Bronzeville trolley tour that's taking place this coming Friday, and that should be wonderful. They'll be here to talk about that. They'll also talk about the Bronzeville Ball, which is always a great time. And then we'll meet two amazing teenagers who are doing the damn thing, and they are a part of a big event that's coming up this Saturday. And I know both of these teenagers since they were very young, and now they are, you know, like young adult teenagers, and they doing the doggone thing, and I am proud of both of them. One has had, well, they both have been on national TV and just all of that. So we're going to have young Black royalty join us tomorrow night here on the show. So I'm honored to have all of these wonderful. And then, you know, the Shards just got back from Egypt.
Oh.
Yeah, they just got back from Egypt, darling. They just got back. Right. Yes. All right. All right. Well, as we continue our Tuesday night show, tonight is Relationship Thursday, because I'm used to having this guy on Thursday. It's Tuesday. It is our Thursday, I guess, here on the show. Tomorrow will be our Friday. Mr. Leon Walker has been a gentleman that I've known for a number of years now. I've had him on the radio show. He's written a book or two. He's just an all-around great guy. What I like about Leon more than anything is just like talking to your big brother, that cousin who is super knowledgeable, that friend that's going to tell it like it is. He is not only an author, a relationship expert, but he also is a narcissist advice person. And not that he's a narcissist. Well, we let him tell his own story, but he lets you know what you need to do when you're dealing with a narcissist. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. Our good friend, Mr. Leon R. Walker. Yay!
What's up, y'all?
Hey, how y'all doing?
Hey.
What's happening? K. Renee, what's going on? Blind Bull, what's happening?
Not
How
much.
you doing?
This is what's going on.
I'm good.
Leon, my friend, how are you? Happy summer. It's been a while since we've seen you. Glad that you're back with us tonight. How's the summer been treating you so far?
It's been good. You know, Chicago got everything. I couldn't wait for the festivals. I couldn't wait to get to Randolph Street, all of the food. You know how Chicago do.
Right,
Yes.
absolutely. Leon, tell everybody a little bit about your background, how you got started in all of this, and then I want to get into our conversation about, the give and take of a relationship.
I got it good. So, served 32 years in the Navy. I retired in 2015. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. I have 3 children, 4 godchildren, and my daughter's soon to be due with my first grandchild. Been divorced since 2007. I was a cheater, serial dater, serial cheater. Speaking of narcissism, I was diagnosed many years ago. I never said anything. And Art, when I was on your show, I didn't think about talking about it until last year. And I heard it was trending. So a friend of mine that knew, he said, Leon, you need to start talking about it. So I talk about that now. I'm still writing books. Been all around the world. Been on 5 ships, served 15 years out at sea. Loving life. You know, I'm giving back. I'm helping people because I broke a lot of hearts. I abused a lot of women. I verbally abused a lot of women. And I did through I've been in therapy. I was in therapy for a year. The first person I saw was a psychotherapist in 2014. Didn't know what the hell a psychotherapist was. Art and K. Renee and Blind Bull. I'm looking at my medical record while I'm writing this book. And I just realized I don't even know how I wound up in a psychotherapist's office. I was on the base at the VA hospital. So I'm reading this stuff because when you go through therapy, they write down everything you say, everything. And so I started opening my medical record like a couple months ago, and I don't remember why I went. I know why I went, but I don't remember who sent me, why. I really don't remember why I went again. My first therapist was in like 1987. I was 21. And so I put off therapy for like 28 years, and I went back in 2014, went to see a psychotherapist, walked out. We'll get into it, but I was very rude and disrespectful in her office, and went to see a psychiatrist in December of 2014, was rude and disrespectful. I couldn't sit there and concentrate because it was the time where like my narcissism was full blown. It's always been full blown, but I didn't have any help. I didn't want any help. I didn't think there was anything wrong with me, but I had some serious issues. And so when I walked out of the psychiatrist's office, I couldn't sit there and concentrate because she was a top heavy woman. So I've always lusted for women. And she was like, well, are you going to pay attention? And I was like, not really. And I walked out after sitting in her office for 50 minutes. So I'm looking at my medical records. I'm like, I didn't even remember this stuff, but it's there. So anyway, that's me in a nutshell. You know, I always enjoy coming on your show, but we're going to talk about some stuff tonight.
What we are because, on this show, we're huge advocates for people in therapy. I believe therapy is important. Probably one of the best things could have ever happened was me finally getting with the right therapist and the right person to help me navigate through a lot of different things. I often discuss with friends of mine that are receptive enough to listen, that it is important that you go and have yourself checked. I find it interesting that you said at the age of 21, you were seeing a therapist then. Really?
Yeah. It was from another incident. We were in the Persian Gulf, and we were patrolling the southern part, and the other ship was in the northern part. While they were there, May 17th, when you guys get a chance, look up USS Stark. They were in the northern part of the Persian Gulf, which is the Persian Gulf is roughly 600 miles long. And so we spend 4 months in the Persian Gulf. Every time a ship deploys, and in the Persian Gulf, it's 120, 130 degrees every day. At night, it goes down to 80, and it feels cold. Well, we patrol in the Persian Gulf. You can see on the coast of Iran and Iraq explosions and stuff, but we get so used to it, it doesn't bother us. So anyway, a jet came in May 17th, 1987, fired 2 missiles and took off, and it hit the ship that we were patrolling with. And 37 men were burned to death. They drowned, they were boiled. So my fire team was called to go and assist that ship. And when I got there, I was 21 years old, 7 months and some odd days. My 22nd birthday was that year, October. Anyway, we get there, and I had never been on a sinking ship. I was ready. I was prepared. We were firefighters. We were trained well. But when it happens, you don't know how well you're trained. And so when you see the ship on Google, it's sinking. And so we get there, and they were slowly pumping the water out. And there was one small fire. Anyway, I'll get to the story, but we stayed there for 12 hours, found 37 men. I picked up hands, feet, fingers, a bunch of dead bodies, and stacked them. And so when we left there, they say, hey, you guys need to go. When we pull into, whenever ship is in Middle East, we either pull into Bahrain, Dubai, Abu Dhabi, those places people are going to now. I was there when it was just
my 3 favorite places. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nice.
Yes.
And so when a ship transits out of the Persian Gulf, usually a West Coast ship, our first port of entry is Hawaii. So we get to Hawaii to say, hey, the fire team, you guys don't need to see a psychiatrist. And I was like, nah, I was ready to have sex with Hawaiian women and drink alcohol. I was in denial. And so I was like, nah, I'm good. So anyway, that's when my therapy started. I was 21, and that's when I found out we didn't really talk about the ship incident. We talk about my childhood, neglect, and abuse. And narcissism starts with neglect, abuse, people that are bullied, being raped, molested, left behind, kicked to the curb, orphans, foster care kids. So I can tell you all about that, but that's when it started. And I was in therapy back then for 3 months, and I quit again, but I got my diagnosis and got out the Navy and came back in like 77 days later. So yeah.
Wow.
You hit a nerve,
tonight,
Leon.
go ahead.
You hit a nerve when you said that, because when I heard the adjective, I said, oh, I was married to one for 10 years. I was like, God dog, you checked off all the boxes. I was like, Lord, and
yeah. So when we get a chance, Art, I'll come back maybe another day and we'll go into that, because I know all about it. I've done everything: the ghost sliding, the silent treatment, the shunning, the gaslighting, love bombing, gaslighting, silent treatment. I've done it all to every woman I was ever with, all of them. And I'm like, I didn't know anything was wrong with me until I went through therapy.
So let me ask you this. How did you learn the give and take in a relationship? How did you finally learn what is important to give and what is important to take when in a relationship? Because that's what I really want us to cover tonight. Yeah, so nothing was important to me as far as giving. The only thing it was a couple of things for me. Again, it goes to my personality disorder, was sexual favors. And this is always going to tie into NPD, narcissistic personality disorder, but it's give and take. We like 3 main things: money, sex, and favors. And so if I'm going to give her something, I'm going to want more in return. I only gave to what she was needing or wanting, right? And it was something small to me. So I went into a relationship as a really keen listener, because I was a very manipulative type of person. And I was very seductive. So when you're very seductive, you compliment the people, you stroke the ego of the woman, and so she'll start to fall for you, fall in love, especially if she's vulnerable, she's been abused, she's been neglected, she's been cheated on. I pop up like I'm the new guy. I'm just as bad, if not worse, than her ex. And so the giving, which I was always meeting these women that were instantly wanting to give because they're empaths, they're vulnerable, they're broken, they're hurt, they've been cheated on, disrespected. So they're going to always like give all quick until they get older, and they're like, hold on, I'm not giving to this fool anymore. But a lot of women didn't know who I was. They saw I showed up in a uniform, I had a head full of hair, smelling good, whether I was dressed nice or my uniform. They liked it. So a lot of these women were yearning for somebody to come and save them or be real, and that's what turned into the love bombing in the beginning. So they just start to loosen up and let their guard down. So they're more the givers, and I was the taker. Interesting. Blonde Bull, anything you want to add to this? Or I see you've been taking it all in, and you being the younger person here on the show, you've not experienced as much as we have, but what do you think of all of this?
I'm just soaking in everything like a brand new sponge. I'm been in relationships that the person is a little narcissist side, but me being the bullhead that I am, I kind of, the minute I saw it, I'm cutting you off. So I'm just taking it all in. I'm familiar with people that has experience. I've been hearing stories from my older gay male friends that has experienced things like that. and I can get a better understanding and able to understand more what it's like. I also appreciate the meaning of how to be able to give and take in a relationship.
Leon, do you think it's possible for men to be givers other than just sex and money and you know, I watch people and I notice, you know, women are much more passionate, much more thoughtful when it comes to things, where men figure, let me trick and give up this trick some money, let me just give us some sex. And really, can men actually be givers and compassionate in their giving?
Yeah, so some men are considered providers and protectors, right? We call it a different term because when you say a giver, it makes his man sound weak, right?
Right.
But some men that say, for instance, a man meets a woman and he wants to impress her. He wants her to see him as a man, a provider, a protector. But she's say, for instance, she's a Leon, she's a taker. She's going to stroke his ego and make him feel good about what she needs or what she wants, but it's not going to be in a selfish way from her to him. He's going to think that I can do these for her and I can keep her, I can make her happy, I can impress her. So there are some men that give genuinely from their heart, from their soul, from their spirit, that have morals. I didn't have any morals, so I wasn't giving them nothing but sex, lies, great conversations, and a bunch of laughs. My giving wasn't like I paid attention to her birthday or Valentine's Day. I used to get it right every now and then, but I was screwed up most of the time because I would buy an ugly gift, a cheap gift, and you know, just to get what I wanted from her. But there are some great men out here that do it the right way. I just did it the wrong way, and I was greedy. I was selfish. I was very lustful. So I was going to a relationship not trying to trying to impress her, but not trying to impress her on a higher level. It was with the minimum. If I can give her the minimum, get the maximum out of her, that's what I did. But there are men out here that are givers like women. Yeah.
Wow. K. Renee, you being a female of this conversation, I can actually see in your face where some type of something, an aura has come over you since you've been listening to this. And so I want to know where you at with this.
I am just in shock at his candor about how he was back in the serious day, because a lot of men are not willing to be that candid. So Leon, again, as we always, when we have you as a guest, I truly thank you. And I wish I had spoken with you 15 years ago, or maybe probably longer than that.
I would have been the same as him, though. We were the same.
I can tell you probably met my ex-husband probably down the road, and y'all probably compared notes.
Right.
But
and
then,
you're right.
wait a minute, not to cut you all off, but that's the way the men were back then. That's the way, that was the whole
Not all men, though, are.
No, okay, all right,
men.
I digress.
Not all
Okay.
men. And that's why we're going to say, I agree with Leon in the fact, because I do know, and they're very few though, but I do know a few men who give from their heart and not from the other head between their legs. Right. I do know a few men who are not manipulative. I know a few men who give and just want to be honest and have that relationship. The problem is there are not enough of those men out there. And especially, and I'm going to be clear, I'm in a different season of my life. Not when I was 20, not when I was 30. I'm in a different season. And now I would hope that because of experiences on both ends, my life experiences and of my potential mate, if God so chooses to have a mate in my life, that he would learn from, okay, if we're gonna have this, because you got to have give and take in any relationship, and I agree with that, but you better be authentic in that give and take. There shouldn't be no hidden agendas. Because see, at this stage of at this season, I love when you were here talk about season, because I asked men, what's your season like? Because I'm gonna tell you what my season is. At this season of my life, you better come correct and be honest, because I don't have time for dishonesty. I ain't got time for no foolishness, because I am by myself and can continue to be by myself and love myself. Because I think at the end of this, it's all about loving oneself authentically. Because if you love yourself authentically, you ain't gonna be playing no damn games with nobody, because you
Right.
know the law of karma. Because anytime you play games with people, trust and believe, karma comes knocking at the
Ma'am,
door. You know,
the,
your
the
address.
bucket is filling up for you too, ma'am. The bucket is filling up for you. Yeah, yeah. Look, the donations are coming in, ma'am. Yes.
So that's all I gotta say, Leon. I always love when you come because you really speak truth and you speak from your heart. And as you were saying, I was like, God dog it, this was
Yeah.
me back in the day.
But
I
see,
mean,
you know
way
what?
back in the day.
But see, I do a lot of speaking to women on social media, and K. Renee, there are more women like you are now. There are a ton. I'm talking, and if I was still like, so I went through therapy in 2014. If I had not gone through therapy, and this is the honest God truth, I would be a 56-year-old whore. And these days, right now, it is really easy to juggle 5 and 10 women. The hard part for me now is talking about what I used to do and having to face these women like, call me buttholes and you trigger me and you make my skin crawl. I get a lot of that. But that's the hard part. When I was doing what I was doing, that was real easy because I didn't care. I was heartless. And so nowadays it's easier to do it because there are less men, more men are in jail, murder, dead, whatever. And so women are looking like, what am I supposed to do, And they just don't have many choices. And so I would never do it. But had I not had my clarity and awareness and want to be better and make some exchanges and start listening to God more, I'd be a 56-year-old piece of crap whore. I would, because
But guess what? God has used you to turn that craziness into purpose, and that's a good thing. So don't ever look back. Just continuously looking forward and being transparent and being authentic, because your voice is definitely needed, especially in the Black community.
Yes, it is. We often hear that saying, can you turn a hoe into a housewife? I'm now in the position of saying, can you turn a husband into a hoe into a husband? You know what I'm saying? Because as you said, there are as many men out here that's hoish and right. And, they wait till they get sick. They wait till they get old. They wait till a bunch of issues happen. Then they want to settle down. What were you going to say, Leon?
Yeah, you're right. You're right. So we always say you can't turn a hoe into a housewife. We never talk about the men. And so now I'm talking about these things. I have more women follow me, of course, because they want to know, and less men because they like, shh, be cool, man. Nah, I was quiet long enough. I talk about Leon. I throw myself under the bus. So if it hurts a guy's feelings, then unfollow me or go get some help, dude, because therapy was hard on me because she told me, you need to stop dating. That's like, what? I've been loving and lusting after women since I was 8 years old. And now at the time I was 47 in therapy, and she told me, you're destroying women. You need to stop dating. So anyway, back to the give and take. I was taking. I told my friend, he's like, man, there's something wrong with you. You got all these women. You need to stop. My brother told me, he said, you need to go to the hospital, man. You're addicted to women. You're addicted to sex. I'm like, why should I go to the hospital? I didn't want to stop, right? I didn't want to stop. And so I told my friend, I said, well, I'm not taking their money, man. And he told me, he said, well, you taking their spirit, you taking their heart. And I never thought about that. And so women they were always giving me things. And I was like, this feels good. So it can't be wrong. They don't give people things that they don't like. So in a relationship, it's got to be give and receive, because you have one giving, one taking. They're just going to take and drain the heck out of that person, And I had a guy hit me up the other day. He's in a gay relationship. And I was like, wait a minute, how does this work? So what do you do? He's taking from you. He was hurt, like Blind Bull was telling me, telling us, when he was speaking, it's like I was thinking about it. Men in gay relationships get treated the same way as heterosexual relationship. There's a giver and taker in the gay community too. And I was like, I didn't understand that because I've been heterosexual in life. It just threw me off. I'm like, and I talked to him now. He's one of my, I guess you call one of my clients, right? And he was destroyed because the guy came in and took everything and used him and abused him and then brought him to Chicago and then took him around Chicago and spent his money and then cheated on him while he was here.
Oh boy.
I didn't know. I couldn't even come back. I didn't know what to say. but it
Yeah,
happens.
no, Leon, one of the reasons why you and I have always been close is that your stories and my stories sound similar. The sexual preference has nothing to do with it as
Right.
much as the stories sound very similar.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why we were having this conversation tonight is that, Blind Bull and I do hang out, and I always say to him, listen, there's a give and take in everything. And the whole time we've been having this conversation, he has been texting me like, look, that's why I want to be a provider. That's why I want to treat you fair and honest. And, because you want somebody that you're equally yoked with. But no, it happens in the gay community all the time. I know people whose bank accounts have been drained, whose wallets have come up missing. I had a friend of mine, a guy put him in the trunk after getting everything out of him. Had put him in the trunk of his own car after robbing him and all of that. So yeah, this happens all the time. And again, you're going after somebody because you think they cute or you think they have something, and it can be really detrimental. What do you want to say to everybody in closing tonight about just it's rough out here. I don't care what type of relationship you want to be in, whether it's straight, gay, or in between. What advice do you want to give about being the best at loving somebody and making it a fair relationship?
Fair, loving yourself first. People always talk about self-love, but you have to have self-respect. I had a conversation with a lady the other day, and she's been with a married man for 6 years. He'd been married for 25 years. And she asked, do you think he'll ever leave his wife? I said, first of all, no. I said, if you were married, would you want your husband to leave you for another woman? She said, no. I said, well, why would you expect him to leave his wife? Anyway, long story short, self-respect. And I tell these women, you'll do an interview for a job, you'll fill out an application for a loan, but you won't interview or you won't show a man an application for nothing. It's just you look good, he look good, he's tall, you think he's rolling down, he's got a nice house, nice car. But they don't interview anybody, Art. K. Renee and Blind Bull, when I've dated and slept with hundreds of women, and I'm not proud of that, but not one woman has ever asked me about my personality. They never asked me about my dad or my mom. They would have found out that my dad was an alcoholic, my mom was a crack addict. They would have found out if I would have told them, but if I wanted something from her, I would have told her. I was always lying in the beginning. I'm gonna lie my butt off in the beginning. So the women don't ask the right questions. And I tell women, don't you ever go on a date when you're horny. You need to take care of yourself before you go out there, because if you do, you're gonna meet a Leon. You're gonna turn into one night stand. But self-respect, self-love, understand your genetics, your DNA, what you bring to the table, what they bring to the table. Who are you? And do your research on these people. Do your research, because you could be dating somebody that looks good on the outside, but that's a doggone monster and devil on the inside, and it's going to come out eventually.
Yes, Lord.
Devil.
When we talked about this, Blind Bull, before we were on the air, we were talking just about this, weren't we, Blind Bull, before we came
you were
on
absolutely
air?
right. You were. We was.
That's right. Because I tell men in a minute, Leon, when they get mad, you investigated me. I said, what do you think I do for a living?
Right?
Yeah, the answer is yes.
Yeah.
And I have no shame about that.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Blonde Bull, in closing, what do you want to say to Leon, brother?
Well, Leon, I want to first applaud you, and I have a whole boatload of respect for you. You have there's a lot of power, being this vulnerable and about yourself and into the public eye about everything that you've been through, the things that you've done that you weren't so proud of, and that you have the power and the courage and the common sense and now saying like, hey, I don't want to continue going down this road. Let me give myself some help so I can become a better person before I lead myself into a life that I have no business leading to, and it might lead me to an earlier goodbye date than I'm supposed to. So I applaud you tremendously. You keep on doing the damn thing. I've learned a lot from this conversation, all three of us with you, about give and take in a relationship and how we have to be able to about self-love and self-respect, and you have to really know what you're doing, getting involved with before you start, feelings and anything else get attached to it.
That's right. You have to know.
Very good. I love it. Last but not least, the wonderful Miss K. Renee. Go right ahead.
Leon, as always, is a pleasure. I always learn something new whenever we have a conversation. Thank you so much for your transparency. Thank you so much for your authenticity. But most of all, thank you for just showing up and being Mr. Leon R. Walker Jr. That's all I got to say.
It took me a while to get to this point, and I finally, matter of fact, Art was one of my first radio interviews in 2018, and so he took me in, and Art asked some hard questions on radio. I was like, ooh. But it got me started to become who I became and able to talk about it.
But Leon, that's only because I knew that transparency is where you wanted to be, when people are brought to me to be interviewed, I look at them as the person. And keep in mind, that was back when we were in a studio together, me first meeting you, and just you were very comfortable, very nice, all of that. But I felt in my spirit, you had a lot to share, and you needed the right person to bring it out of you. And that's why I'm so proud of you. I don't know what to do. I really am.
I always enjoy coming down there.
Very good. Well, Leon, please tell these people how they can find you, follow you, all of that great stuff.
I'm on TikTok, Instagram, IG, Facebook, LinkedIn as Leon R. Walker Jr. You can Google me because I've been all over. My website is leonrobertwalkerjr.com. And Art, when my next book comes out, it's all about this. I don't have it here, but I got a draft. We'll talk again about that, but I'll get you all a copy of my book. It's about narcissism, how to understand narcissism, what to expect. It's about 500 pages, so I just finished that book too. So
we just had a comment right here now that just said, I wish we could hear more of his story. You guys can. Leon will be back. Whenever I text him, ask him, can he be on the show? He will. Candace, he's a great guy. Make sure you follow him on TikTok, Instagram, all of that, because he talks about these things in his daily posts. Just like K. Renee does the Karen's Nuggets of Knowledge, Leon talks about the behavior of a narcissist every day or whenever he does his posts, and they're just incredible. They really are. Well, brother, I wish you the best. God bless you. Enjoy this summer. We'll have you back on in the next couple of weeks, okay?
Okay. All right. I'll see y'all. Thanks. Thanks.
Thank you. Good night. Ladies and gentlemen, the amazing Mr. Leon R. Walker. Talk to you later, brother. Yay. Isn't he incredible?
Oh, my goodness.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did we feel the collection plate again? Good Lord.
Oh, are you kidding me? The collection plate is so full tonight. Are you kidding me? Look, we got hackers trying to hack us. Look, right. Yes. Look,
we ain't having that.
We ain't having that on this show. Y'all sit down. We ain't having none of that on this show. Right. I don't care who y'all think y'all trying. You don't be getting on here talking crazy with us. Amen.
That's right.
All right. Before K. Renee gives her nugget of knowledge, the blonde bull, the one and only Mr. Christopher, brother, what you want to say? Thank you for being here with us for tonight. You did a great job.
Of course. Thank you. Like I said, I appreciate you guys, giving me this platform to come, like I said, be the young generation for a voice of reason, and to allow them to put my little itty bitty blonde 2 cents into topics, and conversating with all the amazing guests that you have on the show, and able to learn something from it also. So all I can do is continue to be grateful. I'm grateful to have you, Art, in my life, and also to be a part of your life too, Karen, and also to be a part of the show. So I deeply thank you both guys. And also I thank everybody out there in the viewing world, Facebook and YouTube, for everything and for all the love.
All right, honey. Well, I'll call you in a little bit. You did a great job. You really did. I'm so proud of you.
Did.
I can't wait till you work on our project. That's going to be a lot of fun too.
I know. I already got a lot of ideas for it already.
I know. Do you think people will watch you and I on a reality type of talk show type of thing?
Absolutely. With your personality and my personality, and knowing that a lot of people out there can relate to, our relationship, and from all walks of life and all different types of relationships, it's going to be a huge hit.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'm looking forward to it. I really am. Well, Kay Renee, we need one of your amazing nuggets of knowledge before we get out of here tonight. Go right ahead and give us that tasty bit.
Absolutely. Today is Live Your Truth Tuesday, and the nugget is whenever you find yourself doubting on how far you can go, just remember how far you've come. Remember everything that you faced, all the battles that you've won, and all the fears you have overcome. And this is Live Your Truth Tuesday. Hashtag never doubt your strength and greatness in times of uncertainty.
Amen. Very good.
I can definitely use that quote for myself because I be in my head doubting myself all the damn time. I'm gonna sit there type A perfectionist.
Yeah, send it to him, please. Please send it to him. For more information, KarensNuggetsOfKnowledge.com. KarensNuggetsOfKnowledge.com is where you can find out more information about my friend Trolley. And here's the deal. He is in his head. A lot of times I'm in my head. He's a Taurus. I'm a Scorpio. And so I what's wrong? What's wrong? Well, you know, so we have to, yeah. So that was great advice. It really was. Yes, Blonde Bull. That was great. We both have got to apply that to our life. All right. Well, we'll be back tomorrow night, you guys, at 7 p.m. Central Time. A really wonderful show. We're talking to Chicagoans tomorrow night who are doing the damn thing. A wonderful event this coming Friday in Bronzeville, as well as the Bronzeville Ball is coming up. And then we'll meet two young people who are really making a name for themselves on a national platform, and we are really excited to talk to these young people. Let's go for some feedback before we get out of here. Shout out to our girl Nadia over in Europe. She's watching us tonight. Right? She's in Belgium. Yes, she is. Nadia, yes, I've seen him on LinkedIn, on TikTok. Yes, Leon is on TikTok. He is. Yeah. He's on Instagram as well too. Tamlin, we just love and adore you. We really do appreciate you. Nadia, we love you, darling. She's on vacation right now, so she's watching us because it's daytime there, it's nighttime here. So we appreciate her so much. Wamelda, we love you as always. Yes, Wamelda, we do. Marguerite, darling, I'm so glad you found me here. I love you, love you, love you. And yes, Nadia sent us some prayers and loves and hugs and kisses. Yes.
Oh, thank you, Miss Nadia. We wish we was there with you in Belgium.
Yeah,
okay. Look, hey, get some Belgian chocolates. I want to go get some Belgian chocolates.
Why we can't broadcast the show from over there? Why can't we?
Why can't we?
You know what I'm saying? Thank you, Candace. We love you as well too. Candace. Thank you guys for all of that. Oh, Nadia says much love. Yay. Yes, we do. We love her. All right. We'll be back tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. Thank you guys so very much. Be well, be beautiful. For more information about yours truly, please visit therealchatdaddy.com. The Real Chat Daddy. Is that me? TheRealChatDaddy.com. Am I that guy? I am TheRealChatDaddy.com.
Yes, you are.
Am I am. All right. We'll talk to you guys tomorrow evening. Be well, people. Be safe. Be beautiful. And we are out of here. Wave good night, everybody. Bye. Bye. Wait, I can't do it yet. Look, I'm trying. My hands are tired. I keep trying to work the controls. Bye. ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Real Chat Daddy Show.